This is a map of agricultural landholdings in Uttar Pradesh. The boundaries highlight a severe constraint choking India's agrarian economy: extreme microfragmentation of land. When divided into microscopic parcels, economies of scale disappear. Farmers manage disjointed supply chains, resulting in suboptimal yields and income volatility. The traditional macroeconomic fix for this is straightforward: corporate land acquisition. Aggregate the small plots into massive industrial-scale farming operations. But applying that model in India immediately triggers severe socio-political resistance. Buying up the land alienates the original owners and displaces the rural workforce entirely. The threat of massive social unrest paralyzes state governments. It prevents any meaningful structural reform from passing the legislature. Any viable policy has to solve an apparent contradiction: achieving industrial-scale agricultural efficiency without displacing a single landowner. Uttar Pradesh can bypass this fragmentation paradox using a specialized public-private partnership framework. The core operational principle is strict: operational consolidation without ownership dilution. Under this model, the government stops acting as a passive subsidy provider. Instead, it transitions into an active regulator, policy facilitator, and market stabilizer. This allows the private sector to step in and deploy its distinct advantages. Private entities inject capital efficiency, advanced supply chain logistics, and precision agricultural technology directly into the farms. By aligning state oversight with private capital, the framework restructures agriculture from a fragmented individual survival activity into a highly coordinated economic system. Farms in this geography must operate as a single unit. A private partner manages unified crop blueprints and resource allocation across the grid. Directly underneath, the legal firewall protects farmers. Landowners sign enforceable lease agreements, indexing compensation to inflation. State policy dictates that these lease rates can never fall below a defined base value. This guarantees the landowner a baseline income even in the event of total crop failure. Mandatory digital land mapping and physical demarcation lock in the exact property lines, ensuring zero transfer or dilution of absolute land titles. The local workforce is integrated into the operational layer using digital attendance systems, relying on geotagging and video verification to ensure accurate labor accounting. Decoupling the physical operations from the legal ownership neutralizes the fear of land loss. It makes large-scale private investment politically and socially viable. The current state of agricultural welfare relies on disconnected government schemes. These fragment capital, suffer from high leakage, and fail to generate systemic wealth. To fix this financial inefficiency, the model requires a second policy pillar: the Scheme Fund Reutilization Framework. Fragmented subsidies like PM Kisan are aggregated into a central pool. This outputs a two-tier payout: an equalized baseline income and a performance-linked layer tied to farm production. Payments route through Aadhaar-enabled direct benefit transfers, creating an auditable digital ledger. Transitioning from fragmented subsidies to a unified income architecture eliminates financial leakage while directly incentivizing higher agricultural output. Consolidated farming immediately faces a major socio-legal risk: hostile interference, attempted land grabs, and coercion by local mafias and informal intermediaries. To neutralize this risk, the policy introduces a third pillar: the Village-Level Intelligence Node, or VLIN. The intelligence node centers on an honest family, validated for local trust. This primary node connects to 4 observer families. Their function is providing ground-level feedback, tracking benefit distribution, and flagging risks directly to a district-level dashboard. This operates under strict constitutional constraints. The VLIN functions purely as a non-coercive feedback loop under state oversight, preventing the creation of an unauthorized parallel surveillance force. Strict penal safeguards are embedded in the framework to immediately punish false reporting or the misuse of authority within the intelligence network. Without this localized, trusted intelligence network, the entire agricultural operation remains vulnerable to capture by antisocial elements. Scaling agriculture at this level requires extensive physical upgrades to the local infrastructure, including advanced water filtration systems and expanded electrical grids. This dashboard outlines the micro-project management lifecycle necessary to execute these upgrades. It enforces formal protocols for technical design, procurement oversight, and rigorous QA/QC benchmarks. Procurement oversight is required to define the precise technical specifications for feasibility studies, bore well drilling, and complex irrigation systems. It also demands strategic coordination to ensure modern structural installations do not destroy the existing heritage masonry found in older rural villages. Defining strict QA/QC benchmarks ensures the physical infrastructure can actually sustain the intense, long-term demands of the consolidated agricultural cluster. This macro-level view shows the ultimate agricultural yield of the fully integrated PPP cluster. The output splits into two distinct pipelines. The primary revenue stream routes through the larger pipeline, moving standardized, high-volume crops directly into national agricultural markets and export channels. A designated portion of the output is retained for the food security layer. This operates on the principle of producing where consumed and distributing locally through the public distribution system. This loop drastically reduces transportation costs, guarantees fresher food in the region, and minimizes post-harvest storage losses. This decentralized allocation mechanism secures regional food supplies, simultaneously with maximizing external market profits. The impact of this policy bridges the gap between state governance, private operational efficiency, and local community trust. It achieves a complex equilibrium, transforming highly fragmented smallholdings into agrarian economic powerhouses without compromising a single farmer's land title. The protections are deeply interconnected. Unified fund pooling secures the money, intelligence nodes secure the operations, and rigorous quality control secures the infrastructure. By strictly implementing this convergence architecture, Uttar Pradesh is positioned to establish a legally defensible, globally replicable blueprint for rural economic resilience.